Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good evening, depending on where you are. Today we are talking about TTArtisan 35mm 1.4, and there are some reviews of that lens on the internet, so I'm not intending to make another review that tells you the obvious thing. However, I want this review to be an honest opinion about TTArtisan, and this video is not sponsored by them. However, I can stay with that lens. This is a gift from them, so I appreciate it a lot, and I ordered this for Fuji mount. I use Sony mount, I use Fuji mount, and for example, I'm recording with Olympus OM1, the newest OM1 camera from Olympus, and well, they are not Olympus anymore. However, there's still Olympus logo on the top. They probably will change it in the future. However, doesn't matter. I ordered it for Fujifilm, and why did I order it for Fujifilm? Because Fujifilm and TTArtisan is a perfect fit. Because the lifestyle cameras and this retro look of Fujifilm cameras is something that a lot of people love, and me too. This thing looks great on Fujifilm cameras. I have a X-S10, which is not that much retro as the T series. However, still it looks beautiful and it's a pleasure to use. And I want this review to be just honest, opinion, how good this lens is and is it pleasure to use. When it comes to build quality, it's just full metal, and there's some things that you may like, some things that you may not necessarily like. I like it because it looks retro, and it's just stupid to say like, oh, I would like to focus ring to be bigger and so on. This is for professional lenses. This lens is fun to me. So look at here the click. Man, it's such a pleasure to click, to change this aperture ring. However, some people complain that it's on the front. I don't complain, it's pretty cool. And build quality is pretty good, and everything works pretty smooth. So for this small little thing with this tiny little lens cap, I love it. Okay, now let's focus on the most important thing, which is image quality. And when it comes to image quality, a lot of people that I watched like reviews of were complaining about flaring. So I don't know if this is a standard set or they send me this lens hood as YouTube reviewer. However, I got this lens hood, and this lens hood, this little thing, despite looking so cool and being screwed on, you don't say that, thread, having thread, this thing changes a lot. It's small, it's compact, it's made of metal most probably, and yeah, it sounds like metal, and basically it changes a lot. So I didn't have a lot of problems with flaring. Sometimes in the video shots I had some flares in a very difficult conditions. However, you can expect that. And honestly, using this kind of retro lens manual little thing, I kind of expect to have some imperfections. So I don't say this lens is bad because it has some flaring, because I kind of expect some flaring, and I even like it because it is like I have retro lenses, and a lot of people will say, oh, retro lenses, they are unpredictable, and that's why I love them. They are unpredictable, and I kind of like this approach here, that you cannot 100% predict the behavior of that lens. So the flaring, I wouldn't say is a big issue. However, you may ask about sharpness, and obviously, I don't know, like I saw one reviewer saying that sharpness is very sharp, that this lens is very sharp for 1.4. I mean, this is not easy to test, like unless you do a laboratory test, and I did like field tests. I went there outside, so you can see for yourself. I shot some of the shots on 1.4, and to me this lens is definitely sharp in the middle, not crazy sharp. It gets really sharp at f.2, honestly. However, at 1.4, those images are usable. However, having said that, I would say that this lens at 1.4 is something amazing for videographers. So you can create some beautiful creamy bokeh, and super shallow depth of field, which is normally not something that you would use in a video. However, at 1.4 it can create like, these surreal images, and image quality in that case, it's not that important, honestly. So you can see for yourself that those images is shot at 1.4 that are, shot as a video, are looking really, really good. So sharpness, I would say from f.2 is really good. 1.4, depending on situation, in a center it's okay, in a corner maybe not that great, but that's not what I would expect to be extremely sharp from 1.4 wide open, no, no vignetting, no nothing, at this price tag and in this kind of lens. So definitely fun to use. At 1.4 you can create some beautiful looking bokeh, like out of focus zones look pretty nice. It's a classic look, this swirly look that I know from Helios Russian lens, and I like it. Some people may like it, some people may dislike this kind of bokeh look. However, it's great. When stopped down to 4, 5.6, 8, it works really good. It starts to be really sharp, and I really enjoy to take photos of Faro that I live in Portugal, South Portugal. And at 5.6, you can see for yourself, those images are beautiful, are crispy sharp. The vignette just disappears, and manual focus is just fun to use, specifically with Fujifilm. And Fujifilm cameras, they help you a lot with manual focusing. They are very easy to set up for manual lens, and they help you to get the focus right there where you want it. Chromatic aberration is another subject that I want to touch on a little bit. So at wide open, it is pretty visible. Specifically, I had problems with this bluish tint of chromatic aberration, so definitely something to consider. However, stop down to 2.8, the chromatic aberration starts to be pretty nicely controlled, I would call it, this is the issue of that lens. Chromatic aberration to me is the biggest issue with this lens. However, when saying issue, again, like from lens of that size and that price, I wouldn't expect anything perfect. So definitely, if you have some contrasty, scenes, some contrasty shots, then definitely stop it down to 2.8, maybe 2.8, and you are in a safe, on the safe side. However, at 1.4, chromatic aberration is pretty visible. Okay. To sum up, I don't want to make this review too long. To sum up, I enjoyed working with this lens a lot. This is a fun to have. It's very cheap. So for 35mm 1.4 manual lens, this is a really good purchase. And with this lens hood, the lens flaring is nicely corrected. So I would definitely, if this is not a standard set now, definitely I would recommend you to get one for this lens, and you can have a beautiful lens that can work as a travel lens, that can also be a nice portrait lens, that can also be a nice lens for videographers. To me, I will use it, I will keep it and use it. It will stay in my studio for sure, and I will use it for B-roll. I love to shoot B-roll with manual lenses, since I never use autofocus system in my B-roll, because then you get all kind of crazy stuff going on. I just use manual lenses, and for B-roll, this lens is really beautiful. And usually I don't really open lenses to 1.4, even 1.8. I shoot between 2 and 2.5, 2.8. So this is a perfect solution for me, because stop down to 2, all the problems that may appear there just disappear, and I have beautiful, very lightweight lens. And Fujifilm, this camera is stabilized, so so I don't need in-lens stabilization. So in this case, I have beautiful B-roll lens, and that would be my main recommendation. If you're looking for something cheap for B-roll and very shallow depth of field, this lens is definitely for you. So thank you, TTArtisan, for sending me this lens, and even the package is beautiful and very cute. I like it. It has this retro look. Like I remember, taking some lenses from my grandma, from my grandpa or from my dad, you know, back in the years, you know, the Zenith Russian stuff, or, you know, Yashica and all this kind of stuff. It does have this nice retro vibe, so this definitely refreshed my photography. And I honestly hope you guys will grab one of these manual lenses and just enjoy it as I did, and have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick review of TTArtisan 35 1.4. Soon I will be posting OM1 review and GH6 review, so stay tuned to my channel. Don't forget to leave thumbs up, subscribe, and I see you guys in the next one.